Hello, this is Tom, aka Gedeon, here for Tabletop Tap Room, and today we're doing our second convention follow-up video after having gone to ShireCon in September 2023. And this is more of a nuts and bolts video. I woke up thinking about things we did right, things we did wrong, everything that went right, and everything that a few things went wrong. Mostly that was with the travel. And I thought I would just do a short little nuts and bolts. Here's my recommendations for going to a convention. But before we get to that, let me just say thank you for watching the video. And if you've already subscribed, thank you again for being a subscriber. But if you haven't, please do hit the like, subscribe, and bell icon. If you like my videos, hitting that bell icon will give you notifications when a new one comes up. So please do hit that. It's good for the channel. And what's also good for the channel is sponsors. And I have a sponsor and I love them. That's Gloomer Games out of Michigan. Andy Thomas and his business partner are great guys. And I supported their Kickstarter last year for Mystic Days, the RPG. They said, not good enough. Let's crank the dial up a little bit more. Let's just take it to the next level. And so they are doing a new edition of Mystic Days, but this time it's the Clyde Caldwell edition of Mystic Days. And they've licensed art from Clyde Caldwell, adding new content. They got new stuff happening. Very excited. And the Kickstarter has already funded. So this is one you can jump on board. They have a great track record and you want to support it. But don't take my word. Let's hear what Professor Dungeon Master has to say in this 45-second time spot that he did for them.
Brought to you by Gloomer Games Mystic Days, the Caldwell Edition. The Kickstarter includes 4 hardbound books, Monsters and Mayhem, Magic and Treasure, Player's Book, and Adventure Guide. OSR style, 6 classic stats, no character classes, you build the character you want, no initiative to slow things down, no OP characters, and death is always on the table. You roll to cast, failure could lead to an explosive catastrophe, and every weapon is unique. Polearms get the place they deserve with every weapon having a reach modifier, and monsters are bestial and not humanized. With fantastic cover art by Clyde Caldwell, this is old school gaming the way you remember. Links below.
Yes, links will be below in the show notes. Now, ShireCon 2023, great time. Had a blast. Everybody there was having fun. Absolutely excited and happy to be there. And this was our second time going. So going back felt like family. You're seeing people you've seen before. You're gaming with people you've gamed before. And I got to meet somebody I've known for a long time through the Star Frontiers community. We met for the first time in the real world. So shout out to Jason Messier. Thank you. I mean, he couldn't come for the whole convention. He came to just play one game and meet me. And so, I mean, you know, that was a blast. Had a great time with him. I wish we lived closer. We'd probably game more often. But so nuts and bolts about going to a convention. My first point on this is all about the travel. Now, last year, because it also falls on our anniversary, we said, let's go early. We'll check in a day early into a B&B, and then we'll just travel around and go see the sights, go antique shopping, go do something together. And we had a good time. But this year we were delayed leaving and we ended up getting to the convention late. Our first game on Friday night was 5:45 and we didn't get there till 8 o'clock. Yeah. You know, stuff happens. I mean, you know, I had to run and get a spare tire put on the rim, and we could have driven to Connecticut without a spare tire. I just had a feeling if you drive, you know, 3 states away and there's a hurricane going on and you ain't got a spare, I kind of know what's going to happen. And because we had a spare, we didn't have to change no tire. So, I mean, you know, just things happen, and it delayed us from leaving. You know, somebody was in the hospital. It's just little things kept cropping up and we could not get out of here on time. So my first thing is, you know what? We need to plan a little bit better for next year because things always come up. Things always come up. And I really think like when you're going as a family, maybe if you're going as a single person, just you by yourself to game, that might be one thing. But when you're going with the family unit, and we're not dragging kids along, so we've got it better than other family units. Planning the extra time, let's go and we are going to do something not gaming together as a family. That's what worked last year. If we had done it this year, I think we would have been all set. We would have been there for the first game. We wouldn't have missed 2 hours of Rob Conley's game. So time, consider your travel time, provide for amenities in the car, because I have a pickup truck. And it's an old pickup truck, inherited it from my dad, and the good wife hates it. She does not like it. So I try to do the most that I can for amenities in the truck. For instance, she's very busy with her work. So I keep, the green screen's wiping out. You can't see it, but there's a plug there. This little device plugs into my cigarette lighter. And it's got an electrical outlet and then 2 ports. We plug in the cords and charge smartphones. And I keep this in the truck so that she can open up her laptop. And because with her job, she gets really stressed when the business emails pile up. And how many emails do you usually get in a day, babe?
I average 100. It's a lot.
Yeah. And she averages 100, but I've seen it where she's been like, I have 900 emails, and it stresses her. So the fact that I'm driving, she hates the truck. She's never going to drive it. I'm driving. The fact that she's able to get caught up on the emails, just the little amenities. I make sure that she's got ice water and to take care of the family, and try to make the trip as pleasant as possible for them. Invest some thought into these things, because that old saying about happy wife, happy life, it's not really that old of a saying, but it's becoming one of those hoary chestnuts that we all say. It just keeps everybody's spirits up. So when you get there, nobody's in a bad mood and you can have fun. So that's one of my things, the amenities in the vehicle. Now, the other thing we did was like last year, she kind of felt a little bit out of water. And I didn't clue in that my level of gaming experience is different than hers. I was just excited that, hey, I married another gamer. And, she gamed in college, her first job out of college, working, running a group home for Boys Town. They used D&D in the group home to actually teach the boys social cues, social things that they had not gotten, in their previous home life, about, taking turns, being considerate, learning these things. There are consequences for certain actions. They actually baked all of that into the D&D games that they ran there in the house. And so she was familiar with gaming, but she doesn't have the same level of familiarity that I have. So
it had also been 7 years.
25 years, yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that. I took a hiatus in the 90s from gaming, came back to it in the early 2000s. There's nothing wrong with that, but on the other hand, I write for fan magazines.
Correct.
So my brain is really screwed into the whole gaming scene. So I have a different level, and we have a nomenclature we have a language, a dialect that we speak as gamers, and other people don't have it. But she's a gamer and she understands the language kinda, but she's just not that familiar with it. So we'll be talking, and it's like I can read Spanish and I can understand Spanish, but if there are certain there are certain cultures where they speak Spanish really fast. You know, you go to Guatemala, I can follow the Spanish a little bit better. But you go to Chile, they speak fast. You go to Puerto Rico, they speak much faster. They're, you know, and you know, I had a Puerto Rican friend. He used to cut words in half, not even finish saying the word. It's like, just keep up, bro. You're supposed to know the word. So, you know, we do that sort of thing. We just talk fast. We'll just say 2d10. Yeah, roll 2d10. And somebody will struggle to keep up with that. So one of the things that, you know, she struggled last year because I was not so mindful. She kind of got left behind, felt like a little bit, you know, in water over her head. She survived the experience, you know, because you can always float when you're in water over your head, right? But so this year going into it, she says, now listen. I says, well, all right, well, you know, what do you need to know? So we did a dice quiz in the truck while driving down there. And she was like, you know, you say things like, you know, 2d10. Blah, blah, blah. So we started walking through it. I says, well, here's what 2d10 means. Rolling 2 10-sided dice and add the numbers together. However, if the game master says roll D100, you're going to roll 2d10, but you're not adding the numbers together. One of those dice will be the tens place and one will be the ones place. And you're going to generate a number between 1 and 100. And, you know, so we walk through that, you know, what is that process? And so how is that different from rolling 2d10 or 3d10 or 1d10? And we just walked through what all the nomenclature was with the dice was. And then I said, now there's this new thing that has come about since 5e called rolling with advantage and rolling with disadvantage. And so I explained that. I said, so if the game master says roll with advantage, or if you're saying, hey, well, you know, my character's uphill, so it should be a little bit easier to do this, you know, because he's shooting down. The game master might say roll with advantage. What does that mean? Okay, because you could say that if somebody doesn't know what it means, they're not going to understand. You know, and then I'm like, all right, so if that's rolling with advantage and the game master says, now I want you to roll with disadvantage, what are you going to do then? And, oh, well, I'll roll 2d20 and I'll take the lowest of the two. And we practiced that right there in the truck. She has a nice little tin of dice that she bought at, I think you bought that Kineticon at one of the vendors. The metal dice, you know, the milled metal dice are really heavy, chunky. I forgot how heavy they are. I go to pick them up. I'm like, oh, geez, I failed my strength check picking that dice up. But so yeah, she was rolling right in the tin of her dice tin, in the lid of her dice tin, and we covered some of this nomenclature ahead of time, so that when we got to the con, she started gaming like a boss. In fact, you know, because we got there, and this is actually trespassing on my second point about taking care of your health. We stayed up late on Friday night to 2:30 in the morning, and then I got up early to go to the con. You know, Christmas morning, you know, kid on Christmas morning. Yeah, let's go to the con. You know, by the afternoon, I was like, you know, losing it. And so she's grabbing my knee and keeping me awake. But so I'm not on my game for that second game for Weird West. But she was gaming like a boss because she knew what she was doing. She's grabbing the 20-sided die, you know, and going to town and coming up with creative solutions for things. So I was so proud of her. Yeah, because we're in the final, we're towards the final encounter, and she has a gadgeteer. She has the MacGyver character, and one of her gadgets was this 30-foot extendable bridge. And I'm looking at it. We're at this caverns, and there's these walkways, and they all connect at the middle. And I'm thinking, there's nothing you can do with that. She could extend it and go from one walkway to the other, but the snakes chasing us could just go around. They're going to get us. Using the bridge wasn't gonna, and she came up with a creative solution. And the game master goes, yeah, I'll go with that. She actually deployed the bridge on its side, and then we jumped up on it and we were shooting down at the snakes. So it was a creative solution, and she was gaming like a boss, but she had the confidence to do that because we had actually done this dice quiz in the truck leading up to it. You might, like, if you know that you're playing Swords and Wizardry Light, get over to DriveThru. It's a free PDF. It's a 4-page PDF. The original Swords and Wizardry, and I didn't understand the difference. Eric Tenkar just explained it to me. I got the original box set, 128-page rule book, right? Well, Swords and Wizardry Light is Swords and Wizardry condensed from 128 pages to 4, making it ideal for running at a convention. It's really, just as much fun. You're at a convention. So yeah, get over and go over the, go over the rules. See if you know you're playing in that. Do a little bit of prep in your pre-planning for your trip. Do a little bit of prep. Get some familiarity with the rules. You don't have to. I sat down at Weird West, didn't know much about the game, but the guy running it, encyclopedic knowledge of the game. He knew what he was doing. He was very familiar with the game. So I didn't need to know the rules. I just needed to know how to role play. And I managed to do okay in the game, even though I was just running out of steam, falling asleep. Luckily, I have the good wife next to me who kept poking me awake and not letting me fall asleep in it. And I just started sitting on the edge of my chair and leaning forward, so I wasn't so comfortable, because those damn seats, those theater seats they had, wow, super comfy. And if you're just a little bit drowsy, you're going out. So do a little bit of prep, do a little bit of, practice character creation. I mean, you're probably going to get pre-gens, which we did for the Weird West. We already had our characters pre-generated for Swords and Wizardry, but that's because Eric Tenkar has an option that if you bring your character sheet back from the previous convention and play in another one of his games, your character can go up in level. So every 2 times that you play them, then they go up in level. And we've played the same characters twice in Eric's Swords and Wizardry Light, because Tammy's really good at saving this stuff. So we had it, and we actually now need to bump the character up to 2nd level. We got a year to do it, though. Unless he's running Swords and Wizardry Light at Rising Phoenix Con.
Right.
But then we only have till next April. But so do a little bit of prep. It'll maximize your fun and your gaming experience. And don't forget in that to prepare your spouse and your kids. Think about them, because if they're having fun, you as the father husband are going to be having fun as well. So, don't forget about them. So that is travel and prep for the convention. Diet, water, and sleep. Already mentioned. Stayed up to 2:30 in the morning, talking, excited to see people, chatty Cathy, and then paid for it the next day. And maybe the best thing is not to stay up so late on the first night of the convention. Save it to the second night. You can sleep while you're traveling if somebody else is driving. Unfortunately, I'm driving because somebody hates my truck.
Okay, the truck is not that bad. It's just annoying.
Yeah.
I like amenities like air conditioning.
It's an old truck. And I'm like, it has air conditioning. Roll down the window. It's an old truck, and I like it. And everybody's like, what year is that? What year is that? And I'm like, and
those people coming up to you are
truck people.
Yeah, sure.
I've never owned a truck before. I inherited it. I put it back on the road, and I'm loving it right now. So, okay. We're enjoying the truck. We probably will not keep the truck forever. I promise.
No, I don't mind having it. I just would like a better option to not have the wind in my hair.
Yeah, but you know what? If we keep that truck another 20 years, then it's really going to be something. Keep fixing it. Anyhow, so diet, sleep, and water. Don't neglect your sleep. I am not a person that functions well on less than 6 hours sleep. Now, the good wife, she's like the Energizer Bunny. 3 hours sleep. Once she's up, she's going. She can handle this stuff. I'm not built that way. We are different people. And, like I can drink a cup of coffee at midnight and go to bed. And I don't drink decaf. Decaf's against my religion. I drink the strong stuff, and I can crash. But I'm wired differently, and I don't function well on low sleep. So I know this about myself, and I, note to self in the future, maybe the first night of the con is not the night to stay up late, goofing off and chatting and, whatever. Save it for the last night of the con. So that's number one. Number two, like hydration. We'll do these in reverse order here. Tammy and I are always walking around. You'll see us. We go someplace where you'll see us lugging these things. Fill it full of ice and water. It stays cold all day long. You can get up the next day and still got ice in there. So we make an effort to stay hydrated. But one of the things I noticed at the con was that because like if you don't bring water, you're gonna and you get thirsty, you're gonna just buy what's available, and it could be what's in a vending machine. And so now you're gonna be drinking soda. And I stopped drinking soda years ago. The sugar and the syrup in there, and then I noticed I'd switched off of soda to sparkling water, and I went to a D&D game, and what'd they put out? 2-liter of Coke, bowl of Doritos. We're playing D&D, so I'm having, nothing else to drink but Coke and Doritos. And about an hour and a half into it, I'm like, man, I don't feel good. My body feels like crap. And I realized it was because I was drinking Coke. I hadn't drunk Coke in like 4 months. And I was like, whew, so, when you're thirsty, you're going to drink something. Make some provisions to take care of your body. Stay hydrated, because if you get dehydrated, you're going to have a headache, and you don't think well. There was one incident in my life. I got so dehydrated, I was hearing voices. I was hearing audible voices, like somebody was talking to me, and there was nobody there. I was so dehydrated. So, I mean, dehydration's no joke. Take care of yourself. Now, one of the things I saw Eric Tenkar doing, he must have had a cooler in his car, because he came in, he was lugging around a 6-pack of soda that was sweetened with stevia. I think it was Zevia or something like that. And that's because, and he's been very open about this on his Gamers Health live show that he does with his wife, that concerned about calories, concerned about carbs and about sugars. And so they're having soda, and it's sweet because stevia is it's a plant-based sweetener, and it's 900 times more sweeter. Science says it's 900 times more sweeter than sugar. So you don't need much to sweeten something. And I actually sweetened Tammy's coffee with just a little pinch out of the packet, fold the packer over, clip it, put it back in the cupboard, because it's super sweet. But he had this stevia sweetened soda. I even offered me one. I'm like, yeah, I got the water bottle. I'm really going good. But I thought that was great, because that meant he wasn't going to a vending machine to get a Coke because he's thirsty. So he stayed hydrated, but he made a little bit of provision, and it protected his health because, he's got some concerns there. So, stay hydrated, make some provisions for it. Now the last thing is diet. Tammy and I discovered this thing called intermittent fasting. And, at first, she was a little skeptical about it, but we've looked into the science, and what we understand is that if you fast for 12 or more hours, it triggers your body. There's a mechanism in your body goes, all right, we better burn some fat. And so it's not hard to go 12 hours. I like to go 14. But generally we try to stay in the same same mode, Tammy and I. And I've lost 20 pounds. First time in my life I've lost weight. Tammy's lost weight as well. And so we're very excited about this. But I knew going into the convention, we're not going to be able to keep this up. So, you know, if you've got like an allergy to peanuts or milk, obviously you got to keep that up. You know, don't do that to yourself. But we knew going in, we're not going to be able to keep up our regime of fasting a straight 12 or 14 hours and then eat. That because people are going to be, hey, let's go to lunch, let's go to dinner. You know, and it becomes tough. We didn't want to be antisocial. So don't sweat if you've got a dietary regime. Don't sweat it. You're on convent. It's like a mulligan in golf. Call the mulligan. You'll get back to things on the next hole. You know, so we had a good time. We didn't sweat it. We really don't feel bad. We just picked up with the fasting from last night into today. And then had a nice breakfast at 9:00. So just as well. And but don't sweat it. Don't stress about it. Go ahead, enjoy yourself. But you know, don't worry about it too much. So that is taking care of your body. Now, enjoy the convention. One of the things that I'm bad about is remembering to take pictures. One of the things Tammy is really good about and why we work is she's always, let's take a picture. Let's save the moment. Because I'm just like, you know, talking, you know, having fun. And I just forget to take the pictures. And don't forget to take the pictures. Take some photos so you have the memories. And the reason why this is so important is I have a friend. I'm not even sure how long we've known each other. We've known each other a long time through the Star Frontiers gaming community and, you know, online. We just met for the first time in the real world. I told him I was going to ShireCon. He lived near there. I have to work that day, but he said, screw it. He registered for the con. He came for the morning and stayed for like a game and a half. And then, you know, went and did his gig. They had a music gig, him and his band. So it was great to see Jason, you know, for the first time in the real world. Shake his hand, give him a hug. You know, we chit-chatted, we talked, and we had a great time playing in Swords. But Tammy took photos, and she's like, I didn't even realize you were meeting him for the first time. I was like, yeah, it's cool. So because we did a group photo after the Swords and Wizardry Light game, you know, I have a picture of us together. So we want to hang on to that because, you know, this is a longtime friend, longtime collaborator.
Your chair is making so much noise.
My chair is squeaking. It's not my chair. It's after my chair broke, I grabbed this chair from another room. It says, this is good enough. We'll use this for now. So don't forget, don't neglect the photos. If you're there and you see somebody and you don't remember their name, like we've been multiple times now, we've been twice to ShireCon, and you're like, I don't know that guy's name. Just go reintroduce yourself. You're there to have fun. Just go reintroduce yourself. I'm a little reticent to do that. I am terrible with names. I use a lot of cheats, like, hey, brother. Using that one for years. It really works well at church. You know, hey, brother. So I am the worst when it comes to names. And, you know, but just go ahead. You see somebody, hey, I forget your name. My name's Tom. Just go ahead and just own it, do it, because you're so much more personable when you use a person's name. Names are important and they have power. And I learned this when I was a scheduler for a nursing home. I memorized the spelling of everybody's name. I made a point. This is important to my job. Names are important. So I made sure I memorized the absolute, and we had all these people from foreign countries. So it was a chore, but names have power and they're important, and it makes you so much more personable when you use somebody's name. So just go right ahead. You're not going to know everybody's name, or you're not going to remember somebody's name that you met last year. Just reintroduce yourself. And while we're on that point of names, GMs running games, use a table tent. Rob Conley used the table tent. Now, what's a table tent? A table tent, if you don't know, is a piece of paper folded in half and then put up like a upside down V on the table. And you write your name on the front. Now, what Rob did was he had us write our name, which was good, and our character name. Little quotation marks, put your character name. Now, what this does is, so you can look across the table and go, all right, that guy's name's Rod, Rob, Helen, Brian, Mike.
We all had name tags on, on a lanyard, but
you got to squint.
When you're at a table,
here's me. Oh, Mike, how you doing, Mike? So the table tents are just an absolute great idea. If you're a game master, use a freaking table tent, because the other thing that happens is I might make the decision to address that player as his character. So now I'm actually getting more into the moment of the role play, and we're doing more suspension of disbelief and getting into the game. And that's important. So use the table tents while we're on that topic. Remember to have fun. You're there to have fun. Remember to have fun. Don't sweat the small stuff. It's all small stuff. Like our first year at ShireCon, I locked my keys in the truck.
Oh, yes.
Okay. And the Haida key was inside the cab, which does me no good. So, and I pull out my AAA card and I forgot to pay for, I forgot to renew it. Well, luckily Tom Wilson, who organizes ShireCon, don't sweat it. Pulled out his AAA card, and we called AAA and we came, and so they sent a notification to his cell phone. So we're gaming. Notification comes in. I ran outside. The guy got into the car, into the truck for me, and
suffice to say, this year we have AAA.
So yeah, we fixed the no AAA problem, because that was embarrassing. Pull it out. Remember, for 17 years, says it right on the card, but oops, I didn't renew it. Anyhow, so yeah, remember to have fun. Don't sweat the small stuff. Don't get worked up. I was all embarrassed. And, oh man, I locked my. Don't sweat the small stuff. Remember to have fun, and almost everything is small stuff. Don't worry. Convention gaming is different than your regular sitting around the kitchen table home game. Convention gaming, just give yourself to the genre. Just go with it and enjoy it. Don't overanalyze. I don't want to make a wrong move here. Go ahead and make a wrong move. Just do what seems like fun. Like
we did it at Swords and Wizardry Light. At the end, it was like, this is either going to be total party kill right now.
Oh yeah.
Like, what's under that big heavy, like, remember we moved the thing?
Oh yeah. When the cleric test, it said, I sense evil. And he's like, well, this is real evil. I'm thinking, oh, there's a demon in there. We're all going to die. We ended up not dying. It was a tough fight.
But we didn't know that.
But so I was like, there's not much time left. I was thinking, like, maybe we should leave this sarcophagus alone. That's what I was thinking. And they're like, 30 minutes left to the game.
And
let's do it.
Bucket list.
Yeah. So, and if we have a total party kill, I get to check that off the bucket list. So just as well. But give yourself to the genre. Just lean into it. Something was said to me years ago when I first got into wargaming, because I was agonizing over, should I charge with these troops or should I not? Maybe I shouldn't. And I was agonizing whether it was a good decision. And one of the other players said to me, we don't feel their pain. Meaning these are our 15 millimeter lead toy soldiers.
It's okay.
They don't feel their pain. Just go with it.
Get your leg shot off.
have fun. You know, it's not the same as being an Army officer, and you know, people are going to die and you're going to be responsible, and that could weigh on your conscience. This is not that. This is a game. Remember, it's a game. Have fun playing it. Don't agonize over the decisions too much. Just let it go. Have a good time. Like the Weird West game, we could see in the distance this pack of devil dogs. They were tearing apart something that looked like a body. And the choice was, do we go and engage them or do we go around? We could have easily gone around and avoided the encounter. But I was curious, who's the body?
Right.
Is the body important? Is it somebody important? Should we
Right.
know who that? And so I was like all for that. And that's what we ended up doing. And it turned out it was just a nameless farmer we didn't know.
You know, I kept saying, and we could have went around.
And we could have, but we didn't.
It took a while to get around them.
And we were making jokes about them being devil chihuahuas.
Yes.
So
but again, props to Ian, the game master, for making that game so much fun.
Yeah, he really knew the rules, which is good because that was a over 800-page rule book.
Yeah. So heavy.
You could have thrown it at somebody and hurt them.
Yes.
And I think only 2 of the players actually were familiar with the rules. Yeah. 2 of the other players. So that was okay. You didn't have to be. You really didn't have to be. Ian knew the rules so well. But
you got in the power nap later to make stuff more enjoyable. But the rest, we ate before that game. We socialized. We took pictures. Yeah. All the stuff in the car to prep me so that I wasn't feeling so intimidated. Check mark, check mark, check mark. Made first step. Yeah. That would have been, for me, a disaster because I sat there for an hour before the game started because it was lunchtime, and he hands me this book. Like I said, oh, where's the rule book? Thinking I've got time to, I'm a speed reader. He hands me this book, and I'm thinking, he's trying to punk me right now because clearly it's not the book. It's the book. And
880 pages.
Yeah, I had time to read the inside summary, which I didn't end up needing. But
yeah. I understood the genre. All right, Weird West, Devil's Demons, set in the idealized Western fantasy steampunk kind of setting. Okay, I can roll with this. And then I saw the Hellbilly character, and he could take a swig off his jug of alcohol and go into a battle rage. And I'm thinking, all right, Yazarians with battle rage. I get that. And
equates it to Starfrontiers.
Yeah, I equated it to Starfrontiers. I play this character. I'm good.
And I always err on the side of using a magic character because that's, you stay in your place of comfort when you start with this stuff. You don't do a variety because you're trying to sort of do the same so that it's a little easier. But I was like, no, there wasn't an option for a magic character, which was great. So I ended up playing that.
It pushed you outside.
Medulite. Medulite.
Oh, I forget the characters.
But I called it a MacGyver. He was
the MacGyver. He was the MacGyver character.
Steampunk-ish,
had gadgets that did things.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Except that one gadget kept failing. Nope, it's jammed. It's jammed. And then finally it worked, and it blasted. And you rolled a crit and blasted all these creatures.
Like, and then after that, Ian's dice could not roll anything except for my character.
They kept picking on your character.
Shooting back at me.
Yeah.
Me was who came up every time.
Luckily, you had a wound stitcher, so it kept stitching you back together.
Yes,
but
and other players did too. They helped out.
So and that's another point is that if I'm not sure about a situation, I'm going into it, I don't know the rules. My knee-jerk reaction is give me a fighter, give me a melee specialist. When I first went back to play D&D, and the last D&D I had played had been Basic Expert. Because I had played AD&D, but then I had taught Basic Expert to my brother. So technically, the last version of D&D I had played was Basic Expert, which is a more stripped down, simplified version. And here I am in the early 2000s. I find a group. I'm like, hey, yeah, nostalgia. I want to get back into this. And it's 3.5. So I said to them, just give me a fighter character so I don't have to worry about getting caught up to speed on spells. So that was my comfort zone. Fighters are straightforward. I'm going to roll the dice and whack them all with my sword. And Tammy's thing is she felt more comfortable. She keeps choosing magic users. And this game, by sitting in on this game, it pushed her outside of her comfort zone, and she had a blast.
And you were asleep half the time, so I couldn't.
Yeah.
No. I'm just being funny. Like, if I had needed you, I would have looked over and been like, "And okay, that's not going to be helpful."
And
thankfully, I was confident, and Ian was everyone was helpful. So
well, I didn't sleep that much.
No, you didn't.
You kept waking me up, and then I just figured out, sit on the edge of your chair and lean forward.
But everyone was helpful. Everyone there is going to help you. When I'm like looking like, okay, so do I roll a D8 for that? They're going to tell you, oh no, you use this. Everyone's there to help you. They want you to have fun. It's not fun for them if you're miserable.
That's true.
You know,
that's true. And a convention is a great time to try something new. So I've tried games at conventions and been like, all right, I had fun, but I don't think I like that rule set. And I know the reasons why I like a rule set and why I don't like a rule set. So by trying it at the convention, it was kind of a try it before you buy it. So I know what rule sets I'm interested in buying and what rule sets I'm not interested in buying. And yet every convention game I've played in, I've had fun. Okay. Because I have flirted with 5e, but then I played in a 5e game at a convention and I was like, yeah, this goes towards that direction of things I don't like about a rule set. So had great time last ShireCon in 2022 playing a 5e game. Fun table, Game Master was fun. Everybody had fun at the table. Of course, it was, the Peanuts gang meets Call of Cthulhu with 5e rules. So yeah, there's some fun nostalgia there. I believe I was playing Charlie Brown in that. Eric Tenkar played in that, and he was Snoopy. So we had a lot of fun. Yeah, you were Lucy. We had a lot of fun with it. But my expectations were off. I've been wanting to try Call of Cthulhu because, it's like everybody dies or goes insane. Nobody dies in a Peanuts gang. It's not cool for Charlie Brown to die. It's not cool for Snoopy to die. So we had none of that insanity and people just dying horribly. That's rumor has it is an element of Call of Cthulhu, but we still had fun. And so conventions are ideal to let you try something new you've never done before and try it out and enjoy it. Because it will, if you have a good time, like Tammy and I went to a game day locally here and they had Zombicide and we played in Zombicide, had a blast. And we said, we're buying this game just like that. And then, we got together had visitation with my daughters and we played Zombicide and they loved the game. And so, it was a fantastic game. And it's, you go to a game day or a convention, you get to try this stuff. It's the try it before you buy it. And I think, and usually it's being run by somebody who knows what they're doing with it. And that makes for a good game experience. So, don't overly agonize while you're playing these games. Be open to trying something new. Try something you haven't, played before. Because I knew we were going to ShireCon that one, Tammy wanted to sit on Eric Tenkar's game again. She had saved the character sheet. If I bring it back, I play in that game that goes up to second level. Okay, fine. That's a given. We're going to be in Swords and Wizardry Light. But then we signed up for things we'd never played before. Rob Conley's the Majestic Fantasy RPG, and he gave a copy to Tammy because she complimented him. The game was wonderful. And then Weird West, we tried Weird West. It sounded like a lot of fun. And so give yourself over to the convention. Give yourself over to having the fun.
Give yourself over to the community because they're going to take care of you. They want you to have fun.
Yeah. And these small regional cons like ShireCon, it's, you know, last year it was 100 people. This year it was 140. 145. And you get to begin to know people. It's like family. It's like family getting together. It's like a big family reunion where you're meeting cousins you didn't know that they were your cousin, but you're all there to have fun. You're all there. We're all there for gaming, and we're committed to gaming. We love gaming. We're there to have fun with gaming. So you have a commonality, and that familyness brings you together for that commonality. And that's what's cool. That's what's awesome. So this is Tom and
Tammy,
the good wife, who's off camera. And we want to say thanks for watching the video. Consider going to a small regional con at some point if you have not. Now I know everybody says, "Oh, you got to go to Gen Con once in your life. You got to go to GaryCon once in your life." Sure, you probably do. It's probably an experience, but I know those things are attended by thousands of people. I do not think you're going to get the same family atmosphere that you get at a small regional con.
Like North Texas Con.
Like North Texas, Rising Phoenix, some of these smaller cons. So I'm like, embrace it, enjoy it. It's a good time for the family. So let's hit the extra and roll this video out. Again, thanks for watching, and please do consider going to a con for a gaming event.